Dr. Jeffrey Rayback, who's Associate Dean for Student Affairs and Admissions, will now introduce this year's student class speaker. Dr. Rayback.
It is my pleasure to introduce our 2017 School of Medicine Commencement class speaker, Mr. DeMarcus Baymon. Mr. Baymon was selected by his class to deliver this address. Mr. Baymon received his Bachelor of Science in Neurobiology from the University of Texas at Austin. His honors include the Drs. Martin and Dorothy Spatz Charitable Foundation Scholarship and the Dr. Janet and Dr. Newton D. Fisher Family Scholarship Endowment. He is a member of the Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society and the Gold Humanism Honor Society. Throughout his time at UTMB, Mr. Baymon has volunteered for organizations such as the Galveston County and Houston Food Banks and the Ronald McDonald House. He was a student member of the Office of Clinical Education's Clinical Skills Summit and an LCME Student Ambassador Coordinator. Mr. Baymon was also a content contributor for the USMLE RX, which helps students prepare for their board exams. He was also a USMLE tutor and led course and laboratory sections through UTMB's Office of Academic Affairs. Mr. Baymon has worked as a research assistant for our Department of Neurosurgery and the Mitchell Center for Neurodegenerative Diseases. He recently contributed to a publication in the Journal of Pediatric Neurosciences, as well as posters presented at various events, including the 84th Annual American Association of Neurological Surgeons and the National AMA Conference. Please join me in welcoming this exemplary student, DeMarcus Baymon.
Thank you, Dr. Raybeck, for that lovely introduction. Dr. Callender, Dr. Jacobs, UTMB administration, faculty, staff, and alumni, I'm honored. Class of 2017, thank you for choosing me to speak. I need us to loosen up a little bit. I've never seen my class so stiff. Can we loosen up a little bit? Just shake a little bit. I also like to thank my family for their support. My section over there. They've been extremely supportive. Today's speech is about reflection, so I want everybody to think about their journey up to this point. It seemed like yesterday this was all a dream. Sometime in high school, undergraduate education, after undergraduate education, or even in utero for some of us, we decided to pursue the journey of medicine. Once we made that decision, we had to sacrifice. You'll hear that a lot. Parties, concerts, events, all to study for classes like physics. Okay. I just don't understand how I ever passed those classes, got through, but we did it. They need to take those classes out. This is my plea to the administration. They gotta go. And after we accumulated our GPAs, we sat for this little test called the MCAT. Who's glad they never have to take that ever again? And we took Princeton review courses and Kaplan review courses to sit down for a 4 or 5 hour exam. Now, after we took that exam, we got our resumes together, our recommendation letters, and applied to medical school. And I don't know about you, I was nervous. I started to have this existential crisis. What am I doing? Am I gonna get in? Am I gonna get an interview? I got my interview at UTMB. I was so excited. Then in early February, at night, it was about midnight. That song, y'all remember that song? I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. You hear that vibrato? And That was the night that we all got into medical school, all of us here. Success requires a decision. It seemed like yesterday I remember driving across the causeway of the bridge to UTMB for our prep course. I got to meet some of my classmates for prep. I took prep too seriously. The administration needs to tell people, relax, it's an introduction to medical school. Then gross anatomy came and everybody, all of these lovely, beautiful people here joined us. That's when I realized that medical school was intense. Medical school was so intense, people were hiding pathological specimens so others couldn't study. Medical school was so intense, people used to shout out in class, "I have a question." Where is she at? Medical school was so intense that we had a chair incident. Now, the chair incident was very involved. I will not divulge the details. And for the audience, just ask someone, what is the chair incident? And after that, year 2 came. And year 2 is an intense year of medical school because we have to prepare for our boards. USMLE, we use Pathoma, First Aid, and U-World. And it's the test that determines our careers. Am I right, guys? They put so much emphasis on it, we were so nervous. That test is 8 hours. And we used to sit and camp out in rooms with our little teapots, and we used to squat in the library. Good thing there is no squatting laws in Texas, or we would own the whole UTMB campus. And after we completed that, year 3 came, and that's what we came to medical school for. Year 3 is clinicals. I call it the year of the imprinting. All you do is follow like ducklings. You follow these beautiful people behind me, these smart, intelligent people, and you try to soak up as much knowledge as you can. I remember I did not know what I was doing. Trying to take a history, tried to take perform a physical exam, and I was praying that you guys in the audience, as our patients, did not know. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue. And when you would ask and say, "Hey, doc, what do you think's going on?" I would say, I would be ready, have my preparation speech. I would go talk to my upper level. We would get together. We would discuss your case. And I will let you know. Code for, I don't know. And then year 4 came, and I wish we could rewind year 4. It's a lovely year. A lot of us had away rotations. It's expensive. No one tells you the expense of medical school. It's very expensive, a lot of money. And we had interviews. I wanted to leave Texas, and so on my interviews, everyone would ask me, "Are you really going to leave Texas? There's this Texas curse." I know me and my classmates, we've talked about this Texas curse. Are you going to leave? I'm like, "Yeah, I'm willing to leave." And I got out. I'm going to Boston. So hopefully I'll be back. And then match day, and that was an exciting day. We all got our choices. And I just want to impart on the class that I was so proud of us because we were so resilient. I know a lot of us, we may not have gotten our first choices, but we know that life does not stop and you have to push. I was so inspired by you guys' resilience, and I want you to know that. And then after match, I thought I was done. I went back to clinic and I looked at my resident, and I can go home, right? He was like, "No." So therefore, success requires dedication and commitment. Residency is soon about to start. Who's nervous? If you're not nervous, give me some of your superpowers. If you're from the planet Krypton, and I am definitely nervous about residency. All these questions running through my head. Am I ready? But we have to trust the process. We have to trust that UTMB has given us the tools that we need to accomplish the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Sorry, Michelle and Heather. 7 years. And we are ready for what comes ahead. You have to trust yourself. I want everybody right now to repeat, "I can do it." Repeat. You have to believe it. You can accomplish it. You did not get this far to be overwhelmed by your fear, know that you can do it. Success requires surprise and for you to feel uncomfortable. In the last part of my speech, this is the easier part. I can breathe a little bit. This is personal anecdotes. I started medical school. I will never forget coming to medical school. We lined up. We had our white coat. Dr. Goodgame was our speaker. Gave us a lovely speech. And I'll never forget, I took my picture and looked at it. And our white coat was so excited. And I said to myself, I will look different when I leave here. And I'm going to ask my class a question. Do I look the same as when I came in, or do I look different? And for people in the audience who don't understand what this means, I began medical school at 365 pounds. Currently, I stand before you at 245 pounds. I tell you this because sometimes, especially surrounded by all of these intelligent people, all we talk about is medicine and professional stuff and all these different kind of things. But sometimes in life, your biggest challenges will not be professional. They'll be personal. We will have to sacrifice so much and be up late and arise early. And our personal challenges may sometimes get the best of us. Also, I know my parents, my mom and dad, I'm very, very happy for all their support. Believe it or not, they probably would not have imagined that I would be standing here speaking. And you would say, why? Well, because I used to take speech classes. I had an intense stutter. I could not get out my words. The most frustrating thing is to have something built up in you internally and not be able to get it out. Very, very frustrating. And I took classes, persevered. So I tell you this because sometimes, again, the personal challenges will overwhelm the professional ones sometimes. Success requires change. So for the class of 2017, for us to accomplish our goals from here to now and in the future, we will have to make a decision, be committed and dedicated, know that there will be some surprises, and for us, we will feel uncomfortable at times. But know that you can make the changes that you have set out to do. I just want to say, before I close, you guys are intelligent people. I'm so inspired by you all. You all motivate me to become better. I look at all of you all the time, and I say to myself, man, how can I be like Taylor? Stands in front of the class and really just gives those speeches. How can I be like Chris and work out? How can I be like Joelle and really just push forward and persevere and maintain my beliefs? I just named a few of my classmates. But so many of you all have been an inspiration to me, and you will never know how you have changed my life. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm happy to be your class speaker this year. Now let's become doctors.
Well, there you go. That's the kind of energy we need for this grand event.